What's an experience you had at a buffet that you'll never forget? This was back when I was dating Hannah in college. I grew up in a tiny town where the fanciest restaurant was maybe Applebee's on a good day, but her dad worked in finance and they had money. Real money. Like they lived in one of those neighborhoods where everyone has a 3-car garage. For Hannah's 20th birthday, her parents decided to take us to this insane seafood buffet inside some luxury hotel downtown. The kind of place where they have actual waiters walking around with white gloves and everything's under these fancy glass domes. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. I was already nervous as hell. I wore my one decent button-down shirt and kept checking with Hannah to make sure I wasn't doing anything embarrassing. Her dad Steve barely said 2 words to me the whole car ride there. Just kept glancing at me in the rearview mirror like he was trying to figure me out. When we got inside, my jaw literally dropped. There were ice sculptures everywhere. The lobster tails were sitting next to gold-dusted sushi rolls. They had a whole carving station with prime rib. I felt like I was in a movie or something. Hannah's mom was super sweet about it. She kept pointing out different foods and explaining what they were. But her dad just watched everything I did. Like when I grabbed a plate, he watched. When I walked to the seafood section, he watched. It was making me even more nervous. I decided to play it safe. I grabbed maybe 2 crab legs and some shrimp and went back to sit down. Didn't even touch the fancy stuff because I was scared I'd embarrass myself. The food was incredible though. Best meal of my life, honestly. We were maybe halfway through eating when this security guard came over to our table. Big guy in a black suit. He leaned down and quietly asked if I could step outside with him for a minute. My stomach dropped immediately. Hannah looked confused and asked what was going on. The guard just said it would only take a second. Steve was staring at me with this look I couldn't read. I followed the guy out into this hallway near the bathrooms, my hands literally shaking. That's when he asked me if I'd taken anything from the back kitchen area. I told him no, obviously, because I had no idea what he was talking about. He nodded and said they'd gotten a report about some missing items and were just checking with everyone. Then he opened this storage room door right there in the hallway. Inside were 5 full trays of crab legs, like the expensive kind they serve at the buffet, just sitting there on some metal shelving. And right next to them was a navy blue hoodie with my college logo on it and my wallet sitting in the pocket. I swear to God I thought I was going to throw up. I started rambling about how I'd never seen that stuff before and how my hoodie was back in Hannah's car. The guard wasn't buying it at all. He called over the manager, this stern-looking woman in a business suit. She threatened to call the cops for theft, said the crab legs were worth over $300 and they had a zero-tolerance policy. I kept begging them to check the security cameras because I knew I hadn't done anything. Hannah and her family came out to see what was happening and her dad looked furious. After like 30 minutes of me practically crying and insisting I was innocent, they finally agreed to review the footage. We all had to wait in this back office while they pulled it up on their computer system. That's when everything changed completely. The video showed someone in a black ski mask sneaking into the kitchen area about 10 minutes before we even arrived at the restaurant. The person was wearing the exact same sneakers I had on and walked exactly like me. They grabbed the crab legs and then planted the hoodie and wallet in the storage room. The weirdest part was how much the person looked like me from behind. Same height, same build, even the same way of walking. It was honestly creepy to watch. The manager apologized immediately and said they'd never seen anything like it before. They offered us free meals and gave me a gift card, but I was still shaking and felt sick to my stomach. It wasn't until we got back to the car that Hannah finally told me the truth. Her ex-boyfriend Tyler had been stalking her Instagram and saw she was going to dinner there for her birthday. He'd apparently been obsessed with getting back together with her since they broke up 6 months earlier. Tyler knew what I looked like from her photos and had somehow gotten my hoodie from the gym where we both worked out. He'd planned this whole thing to make me look like a thief in front of her family. It was completely insane. Hannah and I broke up a few months later for unrelated reasons, but her family still sends me Christmas cards.